get ready with me for the club as I explain to you how I got diagnosed with Marfan Syndrome. I'm laughing because going to the club and then talking about like my disability, it's so funny. I already have concealer on. What am I doing? I'm gonna put on a shirt. Okay. So how was I diagnosed with Marfan Syndrome? So I had a very smart pediatrician. I'm actually still with him, thank God. I was at my 4-year-old checkup 21 days before I turned 4. And I was sitting on the exam table and he was kind of just like looking at me and looking at my arms and my legs, and he gave my mom a weird look. And she said, "Is she Marf? Is she a Marf? Like, does she have Marfan Syndrome?" And he looks at me and he says, "Your mommy is very smart." And he said, "Yes, I think that she has Marfan Syndrome." So my mom knew what it was because she is an echocardiogram technician. So she does echoes of the heart, like, as her job. So she actually has seen, way before I was born, she saw a patient with Marfan Syndrome dissecting, and she was the one to give him his echo and be like, "Yep, he's dissecting." So she knew what it was. So when he was like looking at me, she was like, "Yeah, my child has Marfan Syndrome." So after that, we went to genetics, but it was like really expensive. So we got a clinical diagnosis. So I went to heart, eyes, and skeletal, and they said, "Yeah, your aorta is slightly dilated, I have scoliosis, and my eyes were off and looked like something about the zonules in your eyes. I don't know. My mom talks about it every time I go to the eye doctor." They basically clinically diagnosed me. So they basically clinically diagnosed me through those 3 criterias. We had planned on getting genetic testing eventually, but when I like got older, I was like, hell no, we're not getting genetic testing, because there was a period of time that my mom was concerned that I might have Loeys Dietz instead, which is a similar condition. So I was scared that I didn't have Marfan Syndrome, because I was like, if I don't have Marfan Syndrome, who am I? Which is really weird to say, but that's just how I think. 6 months ago, I was ready to get genetic testing. So I met with a genetic counselor at U of M, and she did the InVT test, the blood test, and then 3 weeks later, right before Christmas, or right after, I get a call being like, "Hey, guess what? You have Marfan Syndrome." No shit, like, so I called my mom and I called Grace Barnhart, and honestly, it made me really happy. Just to like know and be like confident that I actually do have it. And that we were treating myself correctly. No one else in my family has it because I'm a spontaneous mutation. Here's the final look, and that is my story on how I got diagnosed with Marfan syndrome.